Start off by talking about is we're going to share the next hour or so, a couple hours, whatever we have on the schedule, to help you understand some of the systems we use to build this business. Some of the systems we use to build this business. So my job, first of all, is to help you understand the importance of systems and what we mean by systems and why we even focus on that. You know, when we say systems, a lot of people immediately think of technology and, you know, computers, and that's not what we mean. By systems, we just mean a structured approach to getting a task done. You know, something set up to do a particular task. So I normally give my map example of systems. I'm going to do something different this time. It's my second favorite example of systems, but it's a good one in my opinion anyway. So a systems is just a logical way of making something happen, a pre-designed way to get a certain result, a specific result. That's the whole purpose of a system. A great common example of a system that we all can at least relate to is a recipe. A recipe is a system. But I'm going to try to help you look at a recipe from a slightly different angle maybe in the next minute or so. I want you to imagine that right now you're in your kitchen. And in your kitchen, you have all the ingredients required to make chocolate cake. And you know, you got sugar in the cabinet, butter in the refrigerator, chocolate in a different cabinet, bowl in a different cabinet, spoon in a different cabinet, oven, everything's there, milk, all that stuff's in the kitchen. So, in this example, you're standing, everything you need to get your end result, the chocolate cake, is all around you right now. But you don't have chocolate cake. Even if you were to take out all those ingredients and lay them on the counter before you, everything you need, you still don't have chocolate cake. Everybody with me? You have the ingredients, but what you have are ingredients. You have butter, you have sugar, you have a bowl, you have a spoon, a little mixer thing. You don't have chocolate cake. And even if you were to randomly start just putting that stuff, mixing that stuff together, you still wouldn't have chocolate cake. In fact, you wouldn't have chocolate cake unless you went through the proper order of events. Mix this with this, then mix this with this, then mix this with this. Everybody know how you do the recipe. Finally, put it in the oven, cut the oven on, sit there and wait. So not until around the time it takes for that cake to rise would you have chocolate cake. You wouldn't have it. What's my point of this little example? My point of this little example is often in life, especially in business, often in life but especially in business, we're giving the map, the formula, the recipe, the system of what it takes to be successful, get a certain result, get a certain end product. And we'll take the first step on that system, the first step on that map, the first thing on that recipe, and then look around and try to judge our results based on what it is we say we want. And because we can't see what it is we say we want, we say the process is broken. We say the process is broken. My point is, if you have a system, first of all, to get an end result, it takes a couple of things. One is you have to have the system, right? In this case, the recipe. But second, you have to have faith in the system. Because if you don't have faith in the recipe, if you don't have faith in the system and in the plan, then somewhere along the way, you're going to look around for what you're looking for and you're not going to see it. And then you're going to make one of the worst decisions you can possibly make. You're going to describe what you see, not what you want. And what you see is a mess on the table. What you see is a bowl and sugar and butter. You see all these things, but you don't see what it is you say you want. I said I want a chocolate cake. And you got all the mentors in the world behind you saying, I want a recipe. You got chocolate cake in your hand. And you say, no, I don't. I have sugar and butter and a bowl and a mixer. And they're saying, you have chocolate cake. And you're saying, no, I don't. your hands. My point is, if you judge where you are by what you physically have around you right now, you will never get beyond that. It's almost impossible to get beyond where you are if you make all your decisions based upon stuff you see where you are. You have to see that chocolate cake in your mind to be willing to wait for the chocolate cake to appear. You can call that vision. You can call that faith. You can call that a combination of a lot of things. But unless you have a vision of chocolate cake, you will never take the time to pull the ingredients out the cabinet. Everybody understand that? Unless you have a vision of chocolate cake, and the stronger the vision, the more you're willing to do. If you thought about this chocolate cake all day long and you talk to your friends about it, and oh man, I'm going to make this chocolate cake, and this chocolate cake's going to be, oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, and you're thinking about it, then guess what? When you get home, everything has a purpose. You look around, now the pot has a purpose. The bowl has a purpose, you pull it out. The butter has a purpose, you pull it out. But before you thought about that chocolate cake, it was just simply butter. It was just simply a bowl. So my other lesson in this recipe example is, when you decide upon what you want in the future, what you have now changes. When you decide upon what you want in the future, the value of what you have in the present changes. This is a big point, guys. I'm going to say it again because this is a huge point. Because right now, a lot of people in this country and around the world actually right now, they're looking around and all they see is bad stuff. All they see is challenges. All they see is, the potential for bad things to happen, uncertainty, all these different things. That's what they see. But the reason why that's the only thing they see is because where they're looking from. They're looking from the present. But if people that have something specific they want, very specific they want, it changes around what they have now, what that means. So it changes the butter in the refrigerator from being just butter to being an ingredient for the chocolate cake that I am in the process of making right now. Everybody see the power of that? It's a tremendously powerful thing. And the funny thing is all we're talking about is a recipe for chocolate cake. But you instantly understand that for some of you, we're talking about something more meaningful than that. We're talking about how do you get out of the path of your dead-end job, right? We're talking about how do you change the direction that maybe you and your family are headed. We're talking about how do you actually lose that extra 15 pounds you want to lose. We're talking about how do you gain that extra, how do you overcome the fear of speaking in public. We're talking about anything you want to fill in the blank, there's a recipe for it. Anything you want, there's a recipe for it right now. In fact, there are probably more recipes for what you say you want than books you've actually read in your whole life. Now let that sink in for a little reality dose. There are probably more recipes for exactly what you say you want. I don't care what it is. It can be, French toast or Ferrari. It doesn't matter. There are more recipes for exactly how to get those things than there probably are books that you have read in your lifetime. I'm a very sobering person because I'm very practical. I don't mean anything I say with any type of malice, and I'm not trying to upset anybody, but sometimes you need it without the sugar coat on top. You just need to see it for what it is. And what I'm here to tell you is that whatever you say you want, there's a recipe for it. Tons of them. Now, what we're here to do is talk about a specific recipe that we've used to build a specific outcome, which is a global business based upon COMET 5. Now, much of the things we're going to tell you to do and how to use have nothing to do with the technology. It has everything to do with what you do.